I do not necessarily believe that I was FDR. And I don't know if I started believing that, what would happen. Can you tell me what would...
It's not something that you should necessarily simply believe in out of blind faith. It's something that you remember, it's something that you recall, something that you have a memory of.
Other people have to accept. Here we are introducing a series on the concept of past lives. This implies reincarnation, does it not?
It does indeed.
Just a daily conversation about past lives. Not a daily, ordinary conversation.
Yes, nothing special, just a daily, ordinary conversation about reincarnation.
To you.
And
to me also, but I think of it as a theory, as an exploration of the mind. I'm not saying whether or not I believe it, but I am saying that there's very little proof for it. Here we're going to explore it.
Well, the idea of proving reincarnation has always been very difficult. And the primary reason for that is that reincarnation doesn't leave any physical evidence. And basically, the only evidence you can have of reincarnation is personal, direct experience. And basically, the only way is through your own vision and through your own experiences, but you remember from the past into your current consciousness. Now, the question of proving that is not as difficult as it would seem, because basically, any real truth regarding reincarnation must be self-evident to the spirit within things. And so if someone, for instance, were to be the reincarnation of FDR...
No, hold on a second. No, you let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, okay.
Are you saying that you know who FDR was?
I'm saying I do.
Or who was? Are you saying you know who was FDR?
Who was FDR?
And let's just be clear. FDR was President Roosevelt.
Yes. President Roosevelt, the something president of the United States.
Franklin D. Roosevelt, who helped get the country out of the Great Depression and is considered responsible for
many
leading us to victory in World War II.
Yay.
Wow.
By the way, thank you, Which one is President Roosevelt?
Hold on, we're getting way ahead. We're getting way ahead.
Thank you.
Maybe.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Right. We're exploring.
Let's rewind. How did you figure this out? Who told you?
Your spirit told me when I looked at you.
Just get an introduction.
Spirit.
Get an introduction now, and then clip it to the front
It should be
of the other
self-evident.
part.
It should be self-evident that in time he will be able to prove it. If he is in fact FDR, by how he conducts his life and by how he does, because he is a great soul.
No.
And so even if he is not FDR to the minds of the majority, he will be FDR as an epitome of the greatness of that soul, which was FDR. Simply by proof.
I was kind of hoping that I was George Washington.
That job's been taken.
I could accept that more easily if I was Washington, but if you're saying that I was Roosevelt, I always thought that I was Hitler during that time. Hitler! You don't cough. How can I be Roosevelt? He is my enemy.
Chris already explained that Hitler was cast into a distant realm, not to return anytime soon.
We got rid of him because he was not conductive to the process of conscious evolution of the planet. But again, all these things that we have as knowledge are experienced directly through our own consciousness. And so ultimately, when we remember our past lives, when we remember them clearly, we will remember them. And there will be no doubt in our minds about that, because we will resonate to the spiritual level of that understanding.
All I know is that I woke up at a young age with a great fear of the atom bomb. And it was with me day after day after day, and nobody spoke to me about this.
FDR passed away before.
I don't know if that makes sense. That if
it does actually.
Roosevelt actually never made the decision.
That was
decision
Truman.
Passed to
Truman made that decision.
So
would Roosevelt have made the same decision? What do you feel?
That's hypothetical.
Okay. Exactly.
I can't speak for that.
Well, there we are.
I accept the decision that Truman made, though.
Yeah,
my conscience rested this year.
Yeah.
I actually saw a fine documentary, and it made me more aware of it. Now, and I'm not saying that I accept the truth of this, the fact of this, because
of course not. I won't expect you to. I don't expect you to accept that idea because it's not in your spirit yet.
But
it would be a violation of your spirit for me to say, you must believe me.
Okay, there's 2 points here. I just want to make one quick point by saying that if there's anybody out there who also thinks that they were FDR, or who thinks that they know who was FDR, make a response, communicate with us, because
that's good.
This is science.
That's science.
This is a scientific
We're going to challenge the idea.
Because I do advocate science.
Yes.
My second point is that, can you tell me more about how you come up with the ability
simply
to know people's past life?
I taste it.
From my spirit, you said.
I have a taste of knowledge, so when I realize something, it's just obvious to me. It's like I don't doubt that. When I realize something, I just know it automatically, like just knowledge. You know, when you absolutely know something, like when you know a girl is in love with you, you know. It's like what the Matrix said the Oracle said in the Matrix. It's how do you know if you're in love or if you're not? How do you know if you're the one or if you aren't? You either do or you don't. It's like being in love.
One time I experienced being in love with a woman who I came to believe that she was Eleanor Roosevelt.
It may very well have been her.
This is
if you trust your intuition.
You make me remember this whole experience, this whole mental exploration of it. Or
so
maybe
tell
me, spiritual
when you came to that knowing, when you felt that knowing, did you doubt it?
I really thought that it was true. Yeah, but I did not think that I was Roosevelt.
Right.
I thought that I was Hitler.
Right.
Maybe I was trying to torment.
Well, yeah, it's possible. Eleanor Roosevelt was a tough character.
When we broke up, I kind of abandoned the idea that I had been Hitler.
Yeah.
Wow. And then I continued to accept that she was Roosevelt.
When I was a kid, my dad was an admirer of Hitler. So I used to pose in front of a mirror with a little comb and do this, Heil Hitler.
Yeah.
It's a twisted way. It's something that has made me who I am because I realized that it wasn't me who was doing that. You know, it was the shadow of my father's confusion regarding the real nature of Hitler.
But listen, just to address that whole negative connotation of Hitler.
Yeah.
I don't look at Hitler as
Hitler was just a confused
the incarnate evil. I just look at him as another despotic ruler.
Yeah, that's what he was. Yeah, I think so. I agree. Put this out.
I say we just put this out there without
I agree.
any editing.
Let's say whoever wants to say something about that, wants to contest us, by all means.
So my conclusion:
contest our
stop moving.
I'm more important for that stupid question.